Hey guys, it's Rachel, and today we are making these Totoro tarts. These are really cute, and they're made of a black sesame pudding, and to me, black sesame honestly tastes like peanut butter. So if you're a fan of peanut butter, you'll definitely love these, and it's also great if you have some kind of like peanut allergy, because then you can just make the black sesame flavor, and it tastes just like peanut butter in my opinion, kind of like a milder peanut butter I would say. Anyways, it is really good, so let's get started. We're going to start out by making the tart shells for our Totoro tarts. So today I am just using some refrigerated pie crust. I know, it's not from scratch, but I think that it's pretty good still, and it makes this recipe way easier. So I just rolled it out a little bit thinner. Then I'm going to grab a bowl that is slightly bigger than my tart tin. I'm going to place it onto my crust and then use a knife to cut around the outside. You want that extra overhang of crust so you can mold it up the sides of your tin. So if you have a really deep tart tin, you want more overhang. If you have a shallow one, you want less. Then I'm just using the side of my thumb to press the crust into every little scallop of the tin. After that, I'm just going to remove the excess crust. And then I'm going to use a fork to prick the bottom of the crust. This way, as it bakes, you won't get any huge air bubbles. Then I'm going to bake this off at 425 for about 12 to 13 minutes. Now we can make our black sesame pudding. I had to go to a more like organic specialty grocery store to find these, but I imagine something like a Whole Foods would have them. So you'll just need a third cup of black sesame seeds. And I'm gonna go ahead and toast these first just to bring out the flavor. So 250 degrees for about 5 minutes or until they're fragrant. Then I'm going to pop these into my food processor, along with a tablespoon of sugar. And then I'm going to grind these up until they form kind of like a really thick paste. It'll take about 2 to 3 minutes. So something like this is good. It honestly looks just like tar or asphalt, so if it looks like you're about to go patch up some potholes, then you are good. You're also going to need some gelatin. Here I have 3 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to pour in 2 packages of gelatin. Then I'm going to mix it up until it looks like applesauce. Alright, now in a saucepan you're going to need 2.5 cups of milk, along with a half cup of sugar, and your black sesame paste. Then you want to bring this to medium-high heat and stir continuously until it comes to a boil. As you can see, those black sesame seeds are really going to give off their color and make this the perfect Totoro gray. As soon as it comes to a boil, gently place in your gelatin, and then keep stirring until it melts. Once that's all melted down, you want to take it off the heat and then slowly add in a cup of heavy whipping cream. At this point, I chose to drain out some of the black sesame seeds. I know you lose a little bit of the authenticity of the pudding when you do this, but when I poured it straight into the tart shells, Totoro gets really speckled looking, so unless you want kind of a granite-y looking Totoro, I recommend straining out some of the seeds. Because we're going to be pouring that liquidy pudding into our tart shells, you want to make sure you don't have any holes, so what I like to do is take some melted chocolate and just patch up any holes or cracks. Now we are all set to fill the tarts, so I'm just going to pour some pudding into each shell. You want these pretty full. Then I'm going to put these in the fridge overnight to set. Once they're all set, we can start to decorate. Here I just have some whipped cream in a piping bag, and I just piped on Totoro's belly. Then I'm going to smooth it out with a spatula. And if you color outside the lines a little bit, don't worry, just wipe it off. Then I'm going to pipe on 2 dots for the eyes. Afterwards, I'm going to use some black candy melts to add on his pupils. Be gentle when you're doing this, you don't want to mix the candy melts with the whipped cream. Then basically a little line for his nose. And then more lines for the whiskers. The last step with the chocolate is to add the arrows on the stomach. I also cut out some little leaves out of green fondant. Keep in mind that you want to add the leaves on right before you serve your tarts, otherwise the fondant will start to weep and look kind of melted, and then both you and your fondant will be sad, or maybe even weeping. Then I used a toothpick to add on a little bit more detail, and I just rounded off the top of the leaf. Then I added the leaves to the tarts, and that's it. I don't know if you can tell from this camera angle I have set up right now, but I've actually already taken a bite out of this one, and these are really yummy. So I'm sure if you love peanut butter, if you love black sesame, if you love Totoro even, you're definitely going to love these tarts. Anyways, make sure you let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see next week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys! Thank you so much for watching. Click below for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe for more cute recipes. Talk to you soon!